I feel like potentially Elon Musk didn't quite think it all through.
Yeah. I find it hard to believe.
We're live now, by the way.
Oh, that one.
yeah.
I mean, Elon Musk is a bloody great guy.
What a ledge. I ran through it all quickly whilst you guys were talking. I just thought, why not? So this is our third hello to each other.
It's more,
Yeah. I just want to people are popping into like a conversation with friends is the vibe I was going for.
You're part of the crowd.
Yeah. Like, oh, hi friend. We should look at camera and go, hello you.
Hello.
Blues Clues it.
Great talk.
Didn't see it coming.
Elon, nice to see you.
Hello everyone. We're officially live now, I believe. If you guys want to double check that, I'm not recording, so I will record now. And
something's live.
Something's live. That's good. That's all I ask for is that there's something on there. How is everyone? Everyone is good. Everyone is fine. It's been an added week since last time we saw each other, but that seems to be like part of the course.
We're keeping
these
a
days.
fairly
We're just
consistent.
keeping it cash. Why stress ourselves?
3 to 4 weeks, I think, is about right
100%.
these days.
So how you build an audience, isn't it? It's streaming days.
Just do it when you want. And
you throw it out there.
They'll work to your schedule. That's how it goes.
Contrary to popular belief, consistency is not the key.
No. You got to leave them something to want, and by the fact that we don't do it regularly, they want it more. You know what I mean? It's like supply and demand. If you don't supply it, they demand it more.
People don't want to commit to a set time. There's people who've got busy lives.
No, 100%.
It's like a pop-up restaurant.
It is like a pop-up restaurant.
It's like
I've always
streaming Nouveau. That's what we're doing.
That's what I said from the start.
Nouveau.
Suddenly, like
Adam
a
Bunn.
restaurant.
Perfect.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here all week.
So we had a false start where we had absolute hilarious quips about this being regarded of Shakespeare in the future and stuff, but we're not gonna
it'd be disingenuous to try and repeat it, wouldn't it?
I just want to know I want the audience to know that they've missed morsels of hilarity, and you'll never get to have that again. Anyway, that's our stream.
Another way to get an audience.
That's for
you'll
just for Patreons.
Get a saved recording on the Patreon account. Yeah. £200 a month for the premium tier.
Yeah, get an extra 5 minutes of content.
Yeah, I've been, this is an off-air conversation 100%, but I have been thinking of like redesigning the But Suddenly thing as a whole. So I think it needs T to B redesign, which I'm going to do. Which that'll draw people.
Is it to signify our rise to stardom?
The shifts
going from one viewer, regular viewer, to two.
It's like sort of season 3 of a sitcom when they get a bit of cash.
Oh, absolutely. I want us all to restyle ourselves as well. Like, I want there to be animosity between like a few of us. Like we don't quite get on anymore, and then I want one of us to get cancelled. That's the dream. I'll do that.
We need to completely rebrand ourselves. Bird, you need to wear glasses. Everybody else, we need to get rid.
Yeah, 100%. And there's like a new 6th member that no one else likes. It's like going to be Yoko Ono. It's like just like a silent woman who just makes noises every once in a while.
Always wears sunglasses on stream. Even dick.
100%.
Potentially try
robots suddenly can now be controlled by the audience.
That'd be cool.
Change the theme tune, but then the audience revolts, so we have to change it back again.
Like a 3-minute jazz interpretation of our themes here. Anyway, this episode has been written by Adam. Adam, how did you find writing it? Did you find it difficult or easy?
I found it quite difficult. I think me and Phil spoke a while ago, and I think he said on the last stream that Phil found. And yes, I would mirror that. It was difficult. I found it oddly difficult. I don't know why.
What was the biggest challenge in the process?
It was one of those where you kind of you go into it and you think, I've got a really good idea for this. This is going to be great, and then you realize, I think this is probably just me to be honest, but you realize that your idea is just like, it's like an elevator pitch, and you've not really got anything to back it up for the next like
Did you
however
have
many,
an idea
however many
of
pages.
the historical period that you were going to?
Yeah, I since we started this, I had one in mind that I wanted to do something about, and then that idea kind of grew into something else. And then like I say, no matter what I do, I always end up like staring at a blank page and writing as I go with no idea where my fingers are going to take me, and then kind of going like, oh, that was quite funny, and then like an idea might spring to me as I'm writing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then that's essentially it. Which I think is, that fruit is born in all of my works.
I found that as well. Like that exact same idea is that like you can like daydream it and you see it quite clear in your own head, and you think like, oh, this is I got this. I have got all the beats for this. And then as soon as you sit down and you realize like, oh, you have to do every single little minute beat of this, and it just kind of like mushes in your head. Then and you're like, oh god.
You'll have like. You might have 2 or 3 scenes in your head that you think of, but then it's how do you link it together, and how do you keep it in that time frame that you've established, and is it a short period of time? Is it? Because it's tricky.
This was kind of established as like it was meant to be easier than like the last saga, like the Chateau saga. It was meant to be easier because you had to do like less research, but I think like the research kind of helped you because like you had like a lot,
so much research.
Yeah, so much research. Yeah.
I was going to say because I went about it. I bullet point. I storyboarded my story. I before I put pen to paper, I had a whole plan of like pages and pages and pages because I can't bring it out of nowhere. I'm not as creative as you guys. I have a different process.
I mean,
man. It's good
scripts. It worked great. Yeah, exactly.
Do
you know what? Though, brought to life by your fantabulous reading. Fucking hell. Fantastic all round.
That's what I'm hoping for today, to be honest, guys. So. Also, there could be a definite drop off in quality because not only has it got the thing where I've been writing it over a series of weeks, so you get that thing of like one day when you're writing, you're like really in the zone and you're kind of like, yeah, this is great, and then the next day you're just properly churning out each and every fucking word. So that's there. And then also what I realized today is I've only kind of proofread like the first half. So
I'm cool with that. We should have a rule never to proofread it just to make it more fun. So yeah, I think like a quick we should have a quick recap, which means that Luke Williams, you need to give us a sound. 1, 2, 3, hit it. Nice little pop there. So I think the general recap is that there's essentially Quantum Leap. This is the general recap. There is a guy inhabiting historical people's bodies whilst a friend of his in the future is aiding him and keeping away muscular amphibians.
In the present.
Yeah.
In
the present, yeah.
Well,
his
in the
future,
context of our sort of wider universe that we've established in the previous like 24 episodes or so, isn't it, as well? So and we reckon these guys who we hadn't come across before had found the same time traveling technology that some of our other characters had used, but they were just using it to lock around, and but that's what led to the amphibian future that they now found themselves in. So they decided they need to kind of knuckle down and try and correct history's path as we might know it in our world in 2023. So far we've had Yola having to make sure that one of Henry VIII's wives was successfully decapitated. I had my guys try and persuade we'll give Isaac Newton a nudge in his discovery of gravity, and Luke ensured that Julius Caesar met his grisly demise.
Even though he was a really nice guy.
He was a nice guy.
I love that Adrian was getting on with him, and then being there, he kind of.
On that note, though, like I was playing this game with my family not too long ago called Something Fishy is the game, where like someone reads a question and then 2 people have to lie, like give a fake answer, and one person has to give a real answer. And in this question, like Luke taught me something essentially, is that like they used Caesar's real name, so like instead of saying like Julius Caesar, it was, what was it, Luke? Caesum or something? It wasn't Caesar, was it, in the traditional sense? It was something different, and you mentioned it in your script, which you've completely forgotten about.
I don't remember what I had for dinner yesterday.
So yeah, but essentially I knew that because of the script, and I thought, oh look, but suddenly's doing something for me. That I learned something. And I wrote, educational. See, this is why audiences should watch.
That's partly why I love this. It's educational as well as vocational.
Exactly. Did we discuss? I had this thought while I was writing it. Did we discuss what happens to these historical people when Adrian is inhabiting their body?
No.
Has that ever come up from anybody? No.
That's kind of problematic for me because there's definitely been a bit of shenanigans in bedrooms and stuff like that. And it's like, what happens after
that's sort of like
they come back with no knowledge, or like they just Because I remember they went over that in Quantum Leap. In Quantum Leap, like whoever it was appeared in the future, didn't they? That was the Quantum Leap.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, right. That's interesting.
He's just kind of in a cage in the future. That's kind of
just lock him in a cell for however long Scott Bakula takes to sort that shit out. I don't know.
It'd be funny if like the consciousnesses of the past people are actually in like Adrian's body in the future, but because he's comatose, they're just comatose. I'd be fairly interesting it'd be fairly interesting if they wake up at some point. That's a really cool idea, actually. Is like Adrian wakes up as like whichever historical character that Adrian's playing in the past.
So is that your headcanon, Iolo, or you just come up with that now?
No, I just came up with that now. I didn't even, honestly, like the amount of thought that went into this is absolutely nil. I was like, I want to do Quantum Leap. Let's try and figure that out. So I just did that. So I had no thought. Like Luke had the idea. Like Luke's told me, like when he was writing his, like how, like if they're living in the future of this altered history, how are they researching the false history? And I was like, that's a good point.
I did have that thought. And I was kind of. Yeah, and it did cross my mind of like anything horrendous, like a butterfly effect type thing happened, how would that affect James and how would he would suddenly be aware of that? Yeah. But kind of in my head, I kind of assumed that they're in a shared timeline, that they're inextricably linked together and kind of.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I think I was sort of Back to the Future 2 in it. So like they were down through the time doing all the messing around, then they jump back to whatever their year is, and everything's kind of crazy. So then. But they're aware of the actual original.
Yeah, that was my headcanon. But then, like, I think in my episode, I made a point to say that, like, James is actively researching the historical timeline. He's like, oh, this person is this person. And he's like, how do you know the details of the altered history in the future? Like, how are you like that? We could just write it away as, like, technology. They have altered timeline technology. Shut up, Luke, with your shenanigans. I was just telling
time travel, isn't it? Despite the fact we never addressed any of these issues in the past, it is tricky to logically pair it off. But it's fine. We're here for the giggles.
Yeah. And the thing about this entire story is like it was made to be like super, super easy, as I was saying earlier. And like I found that it's really quite difficult because you have to pretty much come up with the entire concept yourself. You don't have like a leg up from last time. You have like nothing. You get given absolutely nothing. And you're like, give me an entire episode of a show.
Yeah. I think that was one of my problems because I'm so used to kind of just latching on to little things that people have done previously. And obviously we had the established characters with like, you could just get Bird to do Dr. L for 10 minutes if you're struggling sort of thing. But
fill some time.
Whereas now it's apart from Adrian and James, who are fairly kind of straight guys, there's not that much to latch into from the previous, so you got to kind of come up with your own stuff. So that's part of the challenge, I guess. So and it's been a good exercise.
It's been a lot of fun though. I've really enjoyed pretty much every episode, and I genuinely think that this entire concept has legs. I would suggest that like after all this is done, we would like make a pitch of this because it obviously needs some refinement, but like the comedy Quantum Leap is just like a really funny concept in my mind. I think it's like
Quantum Leap meets horrible histories.
What do you think? Leave your comments below.
Like and subscribe. Right, should we get into it? Delve right in.
Let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, okay. Luke Williams, give me a sound now. I like how you like express it to the camera. Like the entire idea is that it's a tradition, so you're not even on camera. Cool. Right. Take it away, I suppose, if you want to start. Or...
Are we good to go? So I just mentioned a couple of things. So
go for it.
I said this I think before you were away, Yellow. So everyone essentially, when we got to the main story, everyone basically has one character. So I think I've put the character, like your names at the start of each scene, just as a reminder. But for the rest of it, you are just one person. apart from Phil, who does have one extra little bit at one point. Again, we talked about the idea that I like me as one of the kind of like two consistent characters is quite hard to write. So I wrestled with a while of the idea and trying to kind of, well, how could I write myself out? Just didn't. So I'm in it quite a bit. And then third point. So accent wise, I think you just want to find like a nice kind of comfortable American accent that you can comfortably just live with quite casually. It doesn't need to be anything mental.
Cool.
Can it be Spanish American? Or just
Luke, you said simple. You've already complicated it.
I want Latino American. It's Yolla's wheelhouse that. Hey.
No, it's not my wheelhouse. I just had to do it for a long time.
Vámonos, ese.
Classic Bunn line. Yeah, so that's it. So we should
look forward to it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah. Delve right in.
Cool. On the last episode of But Suddenly, the fourth assailant strikes amid thrashing, blood-pocked legs, striking Caesar in the thigh. Adrian slumps against the benches, looking up with a slight disgust at the maybe 40 senators not only standing idly, but some cheering.
This is for my mother.
Marcus digs the tip of his knife directly into the groin of Caesar, whose light begins to fade. His breathing begins to slow. As Caesar is taking his last breaths, Adrian can hear through his mind, "Die, you fucking jelly bastard!" Caesar begins to fade. In his final moments, he looks toward Adrian, to Servilius, his childhood friend.
Servilius, et tu?
Caesar's body falls limp on the now crimson marble flooring of the Julia Curia. The Senate roars with thunderous applause.
Who got him in the ribs?
Adrian sees all his co-conspirators holding their knives except him. He looks at his own hands, red with blood, in shock. All right, mate, I'm back. How did it go? There's a long pause as Servilius' eyes roll back into the head of his shuddering body. Episode 29. The loneliest man ever in the world.
Interesting.
Exterior. 66 million years ago, Montana. A fiery hellscape stretches as far as the eyes can see. The scorched earth is dotted with pools of rising molten lava. The sky is dark, cloudy, and tumultuous. Charred trees remain standing here and there, rising above the gloom. On one such tree, we find a small group of creatures taking shelter. They huddle together skittishly. Yes.
Is this the voices we're going all the way through?
This is, yeah, you found it. Now just stick with that, guys. Yeah? The ground rumbles in the distance. A nearby tree collapses. The sound of creaking, snapping wood echoes through the bare valley.
I believe you.
Purgatory's number 4 judders and twitches uncontrollably for a few seconds before coming to rest. He then sits upright, looking distinctly more evolved than his peers, who huddle together and stare at him warily.
Doesn't get better. Now where am I? Smells weird. Just get my bearings a sec.
Purgatory's number 4 stops in his tracks, dumbfounded, when he sees the group of Purgatoria, probably the plural, staring at him. Nobody moves.
Holy shit. Hi, guys. You're big fellas, aren't you? Dreams? So cute. What are you? Some kind of giant squirrels? Dreams. I won't hurt you. Don't worry. Look. See?
Purgatory's number 4 holds out his arm in reassurance. He catches sight of the furry paw outstretched ahead of him and jumps in shock, his fur standing on end.
Sweet Lady Gaga. James, help. I'm in a tree and some giant squirrels are staring at me. And I think I might be a squirrel too. And maybe they've got big, maybe I'm small. But I've got furry hands, James. Furry hands.
The ground rumbles again, closer this time.
Arr! Danger close! Danger close!
Run and hide!
But Ralph's sick.
Did he?
Oh, sorry. Forget Ralph. Mary. Ralph, idiot, run!
Mary not leave, Ralph. Ralph come. Run.
What are these voices?
Are these Americans? Are these the Americans?
No, these aren't the Americans.
Okay. No.
Fucking squirrels.
Squirrel monkey things.
Right. I think you assuming that we know what purgatory is at.
It's like, danger close.
Right, squirrel voice.
Look at Purgatorius number 4 imploringly.
They're talking to me, James. The squirrels are talking to me, and I can understand them. Why did they have names? What does that mean? What does any of this mean?
Ooh, James.
And apparently they can understand me. I don't remember this being part of the deal, mate. We never discussed animals. James.
The ground rumbles again. Ralph and the group look down from their high perch and see a Tyrannosaurus Rex ambling below. It looks gaunt and emaciated, unsteady on its feet. The group, Ralph included, cower together.
Shit.
Adrian, can you hear me, mate?
Oh, now he pipes up. Hi, pal. Nice of you to join. Bit of a situation here. Just looking at a dinosaur, mate.
Say again. Bit of interference, I think. Sound like you said dinosaur for a sec. The T-Rex lets out a roar. It sounds weak and desperate, but it's still deafening in Ralph's tiny ears. What was that?
What? Oh, that? Yeah, just that dinosaur, mate. And did you hear the bit where I said I was a fucking squirrel called Ralph? What the fuck's going on?
The T-Rex pauses. It's heard the tiny cries from above. Its head tilts from side to side as it sizes up the potential new prey. It starts to nudge the tree trunk with its massive snout. The group stumble as their footing is shaken beneath them. The tree begins to creak under the pressure from below.
Okay, I'm going to go squirrel now. I'm going to abandon the other one. I'm going to go, Clive, right. Ralph, idiot. Mary, come now. We need new tree.
The tree continues to sway as the T-Rex grows impatient, rocking it harder.
James.
I'm thinking, mate.
Think faster. We're about to be an entree.
The readings are going crazy. You're pre-history. How the hell are we supposed to know what needs maintaining? The clue's in the name. The Rex bashes harder on the trunk, splintering the wood. The tree begins to fall.
Oh, fuck this.
Ralph jumps up and ushers the group down a nearby branch, which angles toward the adjacent tree and safety.
Come on, this way. Let's move it. Clive, Mary, the other one. Go.
It's Jonathan.
Of course it is. Just move it to the next tree. Save yourselves.
Clive, Mary and Jonathan make it past Ralph down the branch to safety. Ralph begins to follow, but the branch snaps beneath him and he's flung into the air. As he spins, he sees the branch fall below and pierce the neck of the T-Rex, sending it stumbling backwards and into a pool of bubbling lava. It roars in agony as its flesh melts away. Ralph tumbles through the air, his eyes begin rolling back in his head, and the whirling trees and fire merge around him. Adrian hears a faint voice as he returns to the time vortex.
Ralph, no! I love you!
Interior, exterior, time vortex. The scene of fire, smoke, and the death throes of a T-Rex spiralize around Adrian until he tumbles through nothingness. He feels the now familiar twisting again as a new scene forms around him.
Nice.
Interior, Eagle Lander, the moon. Neil Armstrong slumps back from the controls of the Eagle Lander, exhaling loudly. He's clearly relieved, but trying to style it out with panache. Buzz Aldrin looks at him incredulously. Honestly, the two seem out of place.
Well, you almost balls that up, didn't you?
Chill out. I nailed it.
Nailed it. If it wasn't for me, we'd be dead in a ditch 6 clicks west. You nearly cratered us.
That was the computer. I saved us. You can thank me later, Buzz.
And I suppose it was the computer that forgot to turn the engine off at touchdown too. That's twice I saved our asses, and we've only been here 10 minutes, Commander.
Oh, here we go again. Look, I'm getting sicker. Oh, shit.
Neil clicks a button on the radio unit, which crackles to life.
Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Tranquility Base. Now you're just making stuff up. Where'd that come from?
Buzz is interrupted by the fizz of the radio. We hear the voice of Charles Duke, Capcom at Houston.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground.
Neil looks smug.
You got a bunch of us about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
Buzz looks smug. The radio clicks off.
See? You almost gave the nerds a fucking heart attack.
Everything's under control.
Cut 2. Interior Columbia module, 60 miles overhead. Pilot Michael Collins looks out of the small window of the command module as it orbits the moon. He is alone.
Nope, still nothing. Houston, negative contact.
They're down there somewhere, Mike. Approx 4 miles out from the expected site.
4 miles? What the hell was Armstrong playing at? Anyway, negative contact, Houston.
I know. Playing cowboys ever, I think. But they get the job done somehow. We just need the visual so we can confirm a sense calc smeg.
I'll keep looking, Charlie. Not like I'm rushed off my feet up here.
We got plenty of sims to run if you're bored already.
Ah, come off it, Duke. You know I wrote the boo.
It's my favourite part of these films.
It's always the funnest part.
The birds transition.
Birds doing it, yeah.
So Mike's eyes roll back as his head slumps against the window, breath condensating on the glass.
Mike, say again. Columbia, come in.
Mike's eyes come back to life once more.
Wait for me, Mary.
Say again, Columbia. Who's Mary?
Mike comes fully to. He looks around, confused by his cramped surroundings and the walls and buttons and dials blinking at him.
James?
Columbia,
mate. Loud and
do you
clear.
read?
Right, 2 minutes ago I was a squirrel. Now I've got 2 disembodied voices ringing in my head. What's going on?
We copy your psychosis, Columbia. Is it just Mary and James? Check with flight doctor now. Hold tight. Houston, out.
Houston? Why would I be speaking to
Mike catches sight of the nearby window and sees nothing but infinite blackness. He looks again at the dials and buttons surrounding him and glances down at the white jumpsuit he's wearing emblazoned with patches.
Houston? Holy shit. Am I in space?
Looks that way.
Good
Now
one.
I suggest you respond
Been
to
3
the
days
other
now, though,
voice
Mike.
in your ear.
Should have
Can't
pulled that
imagine
one a while
NASA
back.
being too
Mike,
hot on having a
you should-
power
you'll be
crazy
alright.
in space, whatever.
Maybe
the
now's
hell
a
it
good
may
time to get some should I? Over.
Yep. That's really going to get annoying. Right. Houston, come in. I'm okay. Everything's great here. 10-4.
10-4? You sure you're good, Mike? Got your first solo black cat coming up pretty soon, and you're making some of the suits a bit twitchy.
Yeah. All good here.
Duke.
All good here, Duke. Ship shape.
They don't say shape.
Situational nominal. Was that about a blackout at Houston?
Yeah. Hold Columbia.
Toggle that big switch on the panel under the word comms now. Mike nervously maneuvers in zero gravity towards the overwhelming control panel in front of him. He identifies the switch and toggles it.
Done.
Right, so that's your comms button. Turns the radio on and off. Get used to using it or things are going to go badly here.
Okay, got it. So what's the deal then? Who am I? What's going on?
You're Michael Collins, command module pilot on Apollo 11.
Is that the moon one?
That's the moon one.
Okay, cool. So I've got to walk on the moon or something?
Well, no. Mike Collins didn't actually walk on the moon.
Oh, what?
We'll have time to go into that soon. You're about to go into...
Into a blackout, yeah, I heard. What's that?
I'll explain soon. Listen, Duke's about to come back with some details. Just say copy to everything, right?
Got it.
For fuck. Cut to interior Eagle Lander, the moon. Neil Armstrong sits scribbling notes onto a clipboard. He looks at dials and flicks switches as he ticks off items, clearly in a hurry. Buzz Aldrin lazes in the other seat in the confined space, casually twisting a Rubik's Cube.
You know, you could help.
Yeah, I know.
Come on. The sooner we all get this done, the sooner
You can have your big headline moment.
we can write our names into the history books, Buzz.
You mean you can. Your name. Nobody cares about second place. Ask the Russians.
How long are you going to keep this up?
The pair fall awkwardly silent for a moment.
It was supposed to be me.
Here we go.
You know it was, Neil. I'm the pilot of this bird. It's my right to leave it first. All precedent says no. Says so, sorry. It's all politics. All about the spin. Such bullshit. That's why
they put your chair over there, the furthest from the door. Yeah, you've mentioned. I suppose they designed this whole thing to just spite you, right? Look, whatever the reason, they asked me. I didn't volunteer. They asked me. That's it.
didn't say no, did you?
Would you?
Buzz remains silent.
I was really mank that. Would you?
Okay.
Would you, mate?
Go on.
You?
Buzz remains silent.
That's what I thought. Now, are you going to make yourself useful? Are you going to make yourself a useful part of this mission and help me with these checks, or what?
Buzz tosses the Rubik's Cube to one side and takes the clipboard from Neil.
I suppose someone's got to check your math.
Buzz winks at Neil and the pair get to work. After a few minutes, there's a loud rumbling. The capsule begins to shake with the tremors.
What the hell?
Cut 2. Columbia module. Mike floats in the center of the capsule, pushing himself into a tight spin.
And that about covers it. See you on the other side, Columbia. One for the history books. Godspeed, Mike.
The radio crackles out. Mike pushes himself into a somersault.
Whee!
Oh, my. Were you paying attention to any of that?
Any of what?
I really don't think you're appreciating the magnitude of the situation here. You've now, in a roundabout way, joined one of the most exclusive clubs in history.
God, I forgot how mad about all this stuff you are.
And I remember vividly how much you aren't. The irony is not lost on me here, mate.
So you reckon we really went then? Always seemed something was a bit off to me.
What?
To the moon. You think we actually went?
Look out the window, mate. I'd say all signs point to a resounding fucking yes, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Guess that's settled down, if nothing else.
If nothing else. Unbelievable. If I could just trouble you with some of this space stuff a little longer. I know it's boring and that, but if you'll indulge.
All right. Let's get shirty. This floating about is brilliant, to be fair. Go on, hit me with some space stuff.
Right, so we've just gone radio blackout from Houston.
Yeah, no comms for 40 minutes. Heard that bit.
Right, and Armstrong and Aldrin are down on the surface, right?
Right, doing the good bit.
So that means you're about to become the most isolated human being in all of history. Pretty cool, right? Mike stops his somersaulting.
What do you mean?
When he was on the far side of the moon, Mike Collins was the person furthest away from any other person, ever. Completely alone. 30 times he did it. Guy was a legend.
I can't be completely alone up here, James. I just can't. I have no idea what to do. I can't do this stuff.
Whoa, calm down. You're not going to be, are you? Unlike the real Mike, you've got me.
Of course, thank God. Okay, so what do you think we're here to do?
Still waiting on clear readings, but it's got to be making sure the mission succeeds, hasn't it? Get Neil and Buzz safely back on board, get home. Simple. Mike looks around the capsule and the hundreds of switches and dials staring back at him.
Simple.
We've got 21 hours to figure it out.
Oh boy.
Good too. Exterior, the moon, 4 hours later. Neil and Buzz bounce around on the moon's surface. Their white suits contrast starkly with the pitch black of space and the dull grey of the ground. They work diligently, chatting via their radios as they collect rock samples.
So, how long have you been preparing?
I told you to leave it.
Must have been weeks, months even?
I said leave it, Buzz.
Okay. All I'm saying is, if I was going to come up with a line to deliver at arguably the most historic moment of all of human history,
I swear to fucking God.
I'd make sure I got it right.
And what profound delights could we have expected from you, I wonder? Yay, God, and go America, something like that?
There's a pause.
This isn't about me.
Not as much.
The pair work in silence for a few minutes. Eventually, the comms fizzes, breaking the tension.
How we doing out there, boys? Hope you found a rock with my name on it.
All good, Charlie. We're coming to the end of the sample area one now. Found a nice big one. Houston can use as a paperweight.
Copy that. We're about ready for the flag now, gentlemen. Big moment. No pressure.
My pleasure, Charlie.
Neil and Buzz bounce over to a location close to the lander, in sight of a TV camera placed there. Buzz unravels the American flag and stands back to perform a salute.
Well, that looks beautiful, boys. One for the scrapbook. Now look. We've got a little surprise for you. The President of the United States would like to say a few words.
That would be an honor.
Over to you, Mr. President.
The radio crackles and buzzes for a second.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone. That's what I look up. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historical telephone call I ever made from the White House.
So good. Buzz and Neil's personal comm channel clicks open.
Where did he say he was? The White House, was it?
Neil switches the channel off.
I just can't tell you how proud you all are of what you've done for every American. This has to be the proudest day of our lives and for the people all over there. What? Oh, we can't do that. All over the world, I'm sure that they, too, join with Americans in recognizing what a hotel. That changes things. An immense feat this is.
Wasn't Neil's personal comm channel clicks open again?
Something more important, I guess.
You know how it is. You know, keep talking on the phone to the first 2 guys on the moon, and stuff comes up. Life happens.
Pair snigger to themselves as the president continues. You've done that, Phil. Well done. Eventually coming to a natural pause. Buzz clicks his radio back on.
I look forward to that very much, sir.
What did we just agree to?
No idea.
The pair continue going about their science experiments and exploring of the lunar surface. Cut to the moon later. Sometime later, the pair are interrupted by a distant rumbling once more.
There's another one.
Another moonquake. Clocked that at 18 minutes since the last. They're getting more frequent.
Houston did say that would happen, though.
Yeah, I know, but still, I don't like it.
Cut to interior Columbia module. Mike floats in a slow circle staring at a large folder. It has the words Apollo Procedures for Dummies, probably. Written on its cover. His eyes look glazed as he mindlessly sucks on a straw protruding from a silver packet. He mumbles a tune.
That bone's connected to the other bone. That bone's connected to the bone. This is mad, this. May as well be in Latin. And I've had enough of that lately.
Mike takes a final slurp from the straw before letting the packet float away.
Lovely, that. Refreshing. Anyway, listen to this. Serial bus A may operate in parallel with buses B through D, but only when serial bus E is sequentially activated. Serial buses may be placed into regenerative states once per cycle of the primary power cells. However, please note that secondary power cells require all serial buses in operation. I've read that 9 times. 9! Still no idea what a serial bus is, or what it does. Honestly, mate, I've no idea how we're going to get this done. I've had VCRs that are easier to figure out than this. How can something that looks like it was built in a shed be this complicated? I think I could teach my gran to set the timer on her oven before I got anywhere here.
Mike chuckles to himself, but there's no response from James.
Cheer that one, mate. About my gran. It was a good one, eh? Well, I guess my gran's dead, actually, but does that make it less funny or more? Either way, you get my point. This isn't looking promising. James, you there? Only said you'd be a few minutes to find the backup generators. Any look, James?
There's a moment's silence before Mike hears a familiar, muscular amphibious croaking in his head.
Ribbit! That was like a very saucy frog. Ribbit!
Oh my god.
Mike hears the clanking of metal followed by a heavy panting. Sorry, mate. Tied up, protecting your face. Need to study it yourself. Not one left.
Have you not been listening? That's just what I was saying. This is impossible. No, wait. Did you just say protecting my face? What's happening to my face, James?
More clattering of wood and metal. No time. Read. Shit.
I'm telling you, it's not happening, James. Been working through this manual for ages now, and let's face it, I'm no Albert Einstein, am I? You just can't expect me to train as an astronaut in a few hours while in space. But I had a thought, right? What if we tried the first batch of the secret sauce? This is the exact kind of situation you developed it for, right?
Not ready. On your own. 6 hours. Read. Protect the timeline. I just want to point out there that Albert Einstein. wasn't a spelling mistake. That was him mispronouncing Albert Einstein.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
Classic gag.
I did that thing where you like
beginning and end.
You auto correct. Yeah.
I was going to go Einstein, but I went better. That might make more sense. Anyway, the link with James fades, and Mike feels the resounding silence in his head once more. He rotates the folder around and attempts to refocus his eyes. The silver packet floats next to his face again. He reaches his lips out awkwardly before slurping from the straw.
So good. What is this anyway?
He turns the packet and reads the label.
Beef and vegetable puree. Oh shit.
Mike continues slurping as he rotates the folder again. Cut to exterior, the moon. Neil and Buzz fill cases with moon rock samples using telescopic rods. Their white suits are now covered in a light layer of grey dust.
Make the most of that view, boys. Almost time to pack up and head home.
I don't think I could ever get enough of this view, Houston.
Copy that. It sure is one hell of a postcard.
I bet. Can't wait to get up there and see it for myself.
3 years and counting now. Right, Charlie?
Not even that. Train's flying along now.
You going to drive that car?
The Rover? You bet. That thing can move, I tell you.
You reckon they'll let me take it for a spin when I'm back?
I think they'll let you boys do whatever the hell you want when you get back.
The group laugh. Mates.
Copy that.
Neil and Buzz close the now full cases at their feet. As they do, the ground begins to rumble again, closer this time.
You feel that?
Copy. That felt close. Houston, do you register?
We ready to Eagle. Large seismic activity. Stand by.
Maybe the man in the moon doesn't want us taking his rocks.
The ground rumbles again. This time it doesn't stop. Neil and Buzz stumble as the ground violently shakes. Their stacks of cases and experiments topple over slowly, sending plumes of dust in their wake.
Houston, come in. I think we may have to get out of here.
Confirm, Houston. Go for abort procedures.
The radio channel crackles and fizzes intermittently.
Copy. Eagle. Emergency. Come. Abort. Procedures. The hell out. Now!
Duke is drowned out by the intensifying rumbling. A large crater nearby suddenly explodes. Chunks of grey rock are thrown in all directions. We see some spiral endlessly upwards and into space. Rocks rain down on the landing site around Neil and Buzz. Some of their experiments are wiped out. The cloud of dust blots out a large section of Neil and Buzz's view.
Back to the land, Buzz. Go ahead. Move.
You don't have to tell me twice.
Buzz bounces his way over to the capsule. He stumbles as the ground continues to quake and rocks rain down all around. He steps onto the ladder and turns to help Neil, but Neil isn't there.
Neil, where are you? I can't see you.
Buzz looks in the direction he just came from, the thick dust now reducing visibility to a few feet.
Neil? Commander?
Slowly, he sees the white suit emerging from the swirling gloom. Neil is dragging one of their sample cases slowly across the shaking terrain.
Neil, forget the damn rocks. Come on.
I didn't come all this way to leave empty-handed.
God damn it.
Buzz does one big leap from the ladder, landing next to Neil. He grabs the case and the pair haul it back to the ladder.
What the hell was that?
No clue. Come on. It's a little further.
A small rock innocuously flies down and crashes into Neil's helmet visor, cracking it and knocking him to the ground. The dust cloud surrounds the pair and hides the lander from view. Cut 2. Interior Columbia module. Mike floats in slow circles. Various silver space food packets float around him. The instructional folder spins rapidly nearby. Mike mumbles a song to himself.
Planet is blue, and there's nothing I can do. Ding, ding, ding.
Mike sighs forlornly.
Ain't that the truth? Nothing I can do here. Not a sausage. Guess I've had a good run, haven't I? Seen some pretty cool things and met some amazing people along the way. Not many who can say they introduced Genghis Khan to pickled onion monster munch, I suppose. Although James was pretty mad about that one. But you know what? Fuck that guy. Always judging me and telling me what to do. It's me bouncing from pillar to post and having to do God knows what. I mean, where is he now? Just leaving me up here to figure this out. He must realise I'm going to die alone in a tin can. Same for Neil and the other one too. Not cool. How's that for protecting the timeline, Mr. Space Fanboy? Even I know they went to the moon and came back. Wait a tick. I didn't know that. What if they didn't? Ha! Maybe that's it. They didn't go. I was right. The internet was right. Ha! Take that, James. In your face.
Columbia, come in. Columbia, this is Eagle. Do you read? Mayday, Columbia. Mike, are you there?
The crackly radio transmission startles Mike, who remains frozen.
Mike, I don't have time to explain. We're heading to you now. God, I hope you can hear me. We're in bad shape, pal. Prepare for emergency dock sequence. T-minus 10 minutes.
Mike floats over to the comms panel, eyes panicked. Beads of sweat run down his brow and float off into the capsule. Tentatively, Mike pushes the comms button.
Copy, Eagle. I'll be ready.
Cut to interior Eagle lander. A ragged-looking Buzz sits in the pilot seat of the capsule, still in his spacesuit, frantically scribbling calculations on scraps of paper before flicking switches and adjusting dials. His gloves and helmet float around the cabin, and a fine film of dust lingers in the air. His helmet moves to reveal behind him, propped up against the sample crate, is Neil. His breathing is shallow, but he's alive, just about.
Hang in there, buddy. Not long now. Just hold on.
Something.
Just rest up, Neil. Plenty of first aid supplies on Columbia, and then we can get you straight home. You just rest.
something on the moon.
Buzz's determination intensifies as he pilots the ship toward Columbia. Cut 2, Columbia module. Mike stands, feet wedged at the main control panel for the ship. The manual is wedged open in front of him. He flips pages frantically, checking controls as he goes. Lights blink in his face and alarms blare around him. He looks terrified. The comms channel is open.
Got you in our sights, Columbia. Approximately 600 feet out. Switching to near-field docking radar. Confirm?
Mike flips more pages, desperate for an answer.
Confirm, Columbia. Mike?
Mike sinks his face into the book. He can't find anything.
Mike, come in. God damn it, Mike. You got to do something. We're about to create one hell of a firecracker.
It's Adrian.
Say again, Columbia?
I'm not Mike. My name's Adrian, and I'm no astronaut. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm sorry.
Before Buzz can respond, Mike turns off the comms channel and tosses the instruction manual across the capsule. He floats over to the window and stares out, watching the Eagle module steadily head straight toward him. His breath steams up the glass as he traces Adrian was here before running to the control suite.
Can't believe you're letting it end this way. After all we've been through, you've left me here alone, man.
Mike sits motionless. The manual floats by his face and he smacks it. It hurls across the capsule and hits the comms panel, which crackles back to life.
Mayday, Houston. Do you copy? Columbia is non-responsive and we're on a collision course.
We read you, Eagle. Comms look good. Columbia, come in. This is a flight emergency. Repeat, flight emergency. Only you can fix this, Mike. We're counting on you, buddy.
Mike's eyes twitch and he glances at the various alarms and dials around him. Suddenly, he leaps forward to the control panel.
Copy, Eagle. AGS radar has you now at 30 feet and closing. Good job. Gimbal looks good. Request you pitch up 3 degrees to match our yaw rate.
Copy. Pitching 3 degrees. Good to have you back, Columbia.
Copy. 10 feet, all looking green. Contact light, 3 feet. Contact. We have you, Eagle.
We copy your capture, Columbia. Hell of a job, guys.
Copy, Houston. Commencing circuit breaker release and pressurization procedure. We'll have you boys out of there soon. Just hang tight.
Mike switches the comms channel off. As he does, his eyes twitch again.
Whoa. What the hell was that? I guess all that reading finally sunk in. I just knew what to do and I did it. Don't think I've ever been so decisive. What a man of action. Maybe this is a real turning point for me. Maybe I'm finally starting to...
I use a secret source, mate.
Oh, what? Didn't need to tell me, did you? Couldn't let me have it, even just for a bit.
Sounded like you were struggling. Things got a bit dark for a minute, mate. But it works. This is incredible.
Definitely should make each leap easier, I guess.
Not every leap.
Hey?
Not every leap. The supply's limited.
To how many?
I'm not going to tell you. It'll make you lazy.
You're telling me now we have the ability for me to take on some of the host's innate skills and knowledge, but you're limiting its use?
Yep.
Brilliant.
Cut to Interior Eagle Lander continuous. On the other side of the closed hatch, Buzz completes the redocking procedure at speed, flicking switches and turning dials in the cockpit. Neil is still slumped over the supply crate, but he seems in better shape than earlier.
That's pressurization set. Just have to wait now, Neil. Won't be long. We need to get some of this dust vacuumed out of here too. Don't want it blasting through them to Mike when we open the hatch. Can you pass me that hose?
Neil reaches to his side with a groan and hands Buzz a long rubberized tube attached to the exterior of the capsule. He flicks a switch alongside it and air begins streaming through. Buzz begins haphazardly hoovering up the dust that coats most surfaces.
Buzz, thank you.
Shut up, Armstrong. You'd have done the same.
Not the point. I'll get to see my kids again because of you.
Buzz stops and the pair shake hands.
Now, listen. What do you remember about that explosion?
A shitload of rocks? I don't know, man. I was just trying to get out alive.
You didn't see anything.
I couldn't see a damn thing. What do you mean?
In the dust, after I got knocked over, you dragged me back to the lemon. I thought I saw...
His voice trails off.
What, Neil? Saw what?
You're gonna call me crazy, but...
Neil is interrupted by the clicking of the hatch opening. Mike's face pops through the now open hole.
All right.
Now there's a sight for sore eyes. How are you doing, Mikey? Sounds like you pulled off some mighty fine flying back there. We owe you big, buddy. Big time.
Mike floats down the tube connecting the two vessels.
Oh, that was nothing. Should see me take on a T-Rex.
Neil and Buzz look bemused, but laugh anyway.
That's some tricky work with that accent, Mike. What's the deal?
Oh, you know, had to fill my time up here somehow, didn't I? How you doing anyway?
Mike points between the pair, obviously unsure who he's who. He eventually points in Neil's direction.
Neil, congrats on the whole first man on the moon thing. Really, really great work. I think my friend had a poster of you on his wall as a kid. He'll be loving this.
What?
What?
Oh, never mind. It's your Neil, which would make you
Mike turns to Buzz.
the other one.
Buzz.
Gus, good to have you back.
Have you got the O2 turned up too high in there, Mike? Oh, he's such a card.
How you boys doing? We only one piece up there. Comes with patchy, so we didn't catch a whole lot. Well, we did get sounded pretty wild, though.
Just about, Charlie. Things look a bit dicey for a second there, but we're looking good thanks to some damn fine pilots. Remind me to thank recruitment when I get back. Speaking of, Buzz, will you help me over to Columbia? I want to input the coordinates for for home myself.
Sure thing, Commander. Let's head home.
Buzz, still Buzz.
Mike, oh sorry, Mike, can you grab that crate of rocks and bring it up with you? Want to make sure that we get our one souvenir back with us before we jettison the Lem. Be careful, it's heavy.
Buzz stares at Mike with a wide smile, expecting a response. Mike shrugs.
Come on, heavy, 0G. It's a space joke, Mike.
Oh, right, yeah. Good one, Gus.
Buzz backs up before lifting Neil from the crate and helping him down the tunnel to Columbia. Mike hangs back for a moment until alone.
James, what's going on? Why haven't I left? Get everyone back safe, you said. Well, everyone's back. Happy ending. Let's go.
I don't know. Obviously, we're missing something. Best go and see if you can hear anything else.
This better not take long. Zero gravity is getting old.
Mike grabs the crate and pulls it up the tunnel behind him. He comes across Neil and Buzz in conversation with Duke as they input commands into the computer. He listens in as he stows the crate and begins closing the hatch.
Whoa, I'm glad you guys got it in one piece, but this explosion sounds incredible. Nothing like that has ever been recorded. This could be huge.
And that's not all, Charlie. Wait, are we on a private channel?
Confirmed. It's just us.
Good. Well, when Buzz was dragging my ass back to the Lem, I saw something else.
So something? Like what?
Well, this is going to sound crazy, but I think it was something alive.
What?
Gus?
You're not serious.
Say again, Columbia. Did you say alive?
Look, I know how this sounds, all right? And, God, I don't know. It was chaos and my helmet was cracked, but I could have sworn I saw something through the dust. It looked kind of like a giant frog or something.
Holy shit. Are you hearing this?
I don't even... What the hell does that mean?
That's some report, Neil. You know what this means, right? You file something like that in your mission reports, everything changes.
You'll be looked at funny for the rest of your days. I don't know, you want that kind of heat. That's the end of the space program, Neil.
I know, but I saw what I saw. The world needs to know.
I'm not sure the U.S. government's going to see it the same way, Neil.
They might when they see the pictures.
What?
I was snapping all the way through on the chest cam. Must have got something.
Neil,
Look, let's just get home and we'll check the cameras and debrief then, okay?
Sure, Neil. You boys get Eagle jettisons and head home. We'll talk soon. Houston, out.
The group falls silent.
I'll get the nav computer set up. Mike, you okay to get those suits stowed and close up the hatch? We'll detach ASAP.
Mike nods and turns back to the hatch.
What are we doing, James? This has got to be it, right?
Proof of aliens living on the moon that will one day destroy civilization on Earth? That'll be it, I bet, yeah.
Why, smartass? What are we going to do about it?
Thinking. We just have to get rid of the evidence, don't we? If they can't prove it, there's no story. Buzz is right. Armstrong's not going to want that kind of press, or the government won't let him. Either way, all back to normal, right?
What about the rest of the moon missions? Charlie in his car and that. There's no way they're coming back now. That's not the timeline.
I hate to even say this, but
They faked it. I fucking knew it.
Buzz and Neil look over at the exclamation.
What's that, Mike? Neil?
Who faked what?
Oh, nothing. Just reading this space food packet. Made with constituted beef. Can you believe that?
Neil nods in acceptance, but he's clearly still in thought as he turns back to Buzz and the computer.
How are we looking with those suits in the hatch, Mike? We're ready to rock here.
Buzz?
I just said it, did I not? Could you guys hear me?
Yeah, almost got it.
I think it's a
Yeah,
bit of
yeah.
a delay. It's cool. We're all
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
got it, we've
there's
got
some
it.
delay.
I
Sorry,
think
guys.
yours a bit behind.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's all good. Yep, almost got it. I've got this, James.
Mike grabs the white suits and begins placing them into their storage lockers. As he does, he slips out the 2 camera units from the chest plates. He silently tosses them into the hatch and watches them float down the tunnel. He seals the hatch behind him with a thud.
Good to go, Gus. Engage.
Buzz chuckles as he flicks a few switches. With a bang and a loud hiss of air, the Eagle capsule and everything in it is jettisoned off to the depths of space. The trio watch through the portholes as it disappears out of view.
She was a beauty. So long, Eagle.
Neil remains silent, deep in thought.
So remind me again. Do you like being wrong about your fundamental beliefs in the world? Or not? Can't remember.
Yep, very good. Laugh it up, Mr. No-Nose.
No-nos? I don't get it. Hold on. What happened to my face, James? You said you were protecting my face, James. James!
Lovely, man. It's
Well,
really
well
good.
done. Good job, mate. Good job. Excellent. Excellent work. Ooh.
That's great, yeah.
I
Really fun.
Really good.
Super
thoroughly
reading.
enjoyed that. Not only did I think the dialogue was really good back and forth, but I was really invested in the story.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of
Tense.
the tension of when it's all kind of kicking off.
Yeah.
It was really good. I was like, where's he going to get on with this?
Yeah, you built the
Nicely
tension
done.
really well.
I'm glad you liked it. Thank you. Superb
very
reading
good.
all around.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, like, Iolo, we did a good job, but Burge,
Oh, absolutely.
Phil. I mean,
I know, but Burge and Adam's little bit in the thing. I was like,
The
let's
Nixon
get me
was,
and Luke's
was-
bit out the way.
Nixon.
Yeah,
the
Nixon was
Nixon
great.
absolutely had me sideways.
Nixon was ace.
So I think I just ripped it from The Simpsons. To be fair,
Very Futurama. I enjoyed it.
You know, the
The idea that the Luke and God, sorry, you go.
No, carry on. Sorry, I'm completely out of sync. So you guys carry on.
Huh?
I'm the one interrupting in the middle of it now.
Go on, Adam, what you say?
I was just saying, like this kind of idea of Neil and Buzz just being like kind of bickering like knobheads who didn't really deserve to be there was quite funny. And
yeah.
I thought that's perfect for Luke and Iolo. Sorry,
100%.
just constantly like at each other's throats. So that was great.
That was good dynamic. Yeah, it was well. And Burge did a lot of heavy lifting with some big Mike monologues. And
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
good.
Really
100%.
nice
Well.
delivered lines.
Absolutely.
I really liked after he'd had the source where he kind of became a little bit American and kind of slipped
Yeah.
into the actual Mike character for a minute.
It took me a couple of
No, you
lines
did
to get it.
I think you went really well with it. I think the way you played it was perfect, and then you slipped
Oh.
back into Adrian again at the right time as well. It was
Yeah.
pretty much spot on.
No, it
When-
was because some of your words were rounded, but not all of them, and
Yeah.
and I like and that was good translation.
And that was intentional.
Just
I'm
like
gonna-
missing Einstein.
Yeah. I'm gonna miss like James and James and Adrian. I'm really gonna miss them once like this segment is over, like because they've like become really like good characters in their own right. They've got like
I
little.
think they're
characters
developing
of themselves.
each
Yeah.
script as well. It's like you're getting more and more of their dynamic. It's perfect
Yeah.
because I think Adam sort of did something I did a little bit, which is that with James being a total science geek, like he was obsessed with Newton and gravity and stuff, and
And like
it's just
and
interesting
Adam
history of it all.
Adam established in this one that like they've been childhood friends because he was like, oh, I've got a friend, my friend had a poster of you on his wall, which was clearly James. So it was like really good that it's like they've been childhood friends essentially. It's like really building this dynamic between them, and then yeah, it's great. The funny thing as well is that like I was like, oh, what episode can I do when we do my next one? And my thought was the Watergate scandal, and I had a thought even then. I was like, I'm gonna have Nixon be to blame for the amphibians somehow, and it's so funny that like the origins of the frog still had Nixon associated to it.
Well, it's kind of there in a minute. It's there to isn't it? Yeah,
I know, yeah, 100%.
Origin stories right there.
Can I ask, Adam, what was your headcanon as to what was going on with James? Because we obviously saw Adrian's side of what was going on with James. What was your headcanon there?
I didn't really think of anything beyond it was
Ribbit.
it was just dealing with some kind of tadpole-based emergency like you guys had sort of gone into more detail with, but I didn't want to kind of do the bouncing back and forward and doing even more of like my own shit on that side. So I just left, and that kind of fed into the idea that it's just Adrian by himself.
He sort of pulls himself out.
James just sort of disappears out of the equation.
It ties in with the isolation that Mike Collins was supposed to be having.
Yeah, it was like kind of like a cool like theme to the episode is like, like loneliness and like isolation. So that you had like, it was really cool, mate. Really good episode, like really well paced. I was really hyped for what was going to happen at the end. I was like super enthralled by it. That's why I was like, every once in a while, like sometimes it was my delay, but sometimes I was just like, yeah, what happens next? I was like, oh no, I have to read about this. I have to like say lines. I was like, oh
shit.
shit.
A couple of times.
I felt like what you did very well is you kept subverting my expectations. I thought, oh, this is going to happen, and it didn't. This is going to happen. Like I thought when Mike went to the hatch to get the rocks or whatever, I thought something was going to come from that. Like there might be something in there, or it was just very nicely kept catching me off guard.
And then when Neil Armstrong was like sort of like struggling in the side, I thought he was going to start turning amphibian-y, like he might have been like bitten or infected or something. I was like, oh no. It was like cool. It was really smart.
All great ideas.
I know, yeah. But it was like really like sort of like tense. It was ace. It was really good. Good job. Excellently done.
I generally, across the board, though, feel that, I mean, not to float our own boats there, audience, but I feel like we're getting better as we go. Like,
100%.
I've really, really enjoyed the end of the last round and the start of this round. It's been, like, it's a highlight. I will really look forward to this. This was great.
It very much was enjoyable.
No pressure, Birds.
No, ready.
Oh yeah, it's
each of
Birds
us
next.
has done a brilliant script.
Hey, I said the end of the last segment and this one.
Keep it up. But the thing is that like, I know
because it was it. Was it?
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah. It's been a while since Burgess written one. It's been like this really good period where
you really hit our stride.
They've been great. Not too wanky,
I remember Burgess' last one was Red Ball. So it was the last but one.
Red Ball was fantastic.
Yeah, that was the penultimate, wasn't it? Which was part of the end.
The woman cracking open.
Yeah,
say that.
It's been a lovely transition phase.
But here's my opinion, right? Is I think that you guys is a thing of like, oh, because we read the scene descriptions, we shouldn't be playing our characters. I don't think that applies because honestly, I don't think it detracted from that episode at all that Adam read James and also read the scene descriptions. I don't think it actually like matters too much. So what I'm saying is,
it wasn't as awkward as I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, I think it's fine. I honestly think it's like, because you can separate the two voices, and we have to have Adrian. So Burge, don't you dare recast Adrian. Don't you dare recast Adrian. Adrian is you. Right.
It was really well divided up, and regardless of who's reading what, it tells a fantastic story as the 100%. Way we're doing it.
100%.
Good work, guys.
Yeah, it was great.
Right, so I think
we know Burge is next.
Out of the way than everyone else.
Well, let's have a
No.
Let's do a spinner.
Don't take that away from us.
Cool.
We have Burge multiple times.
Have I just completely disappeared?
Yes.
Oh, am I back? Cool. I've set up a spinner with all Burges whilst you guys were away, seemingly.
I'm going for blue bird.
Okay, who's
Oh, green
place your
bird.
bets.
I'm all about the green.
See, Phil went mathematical, and he was like, the most likely scenario
You knew
is
it.
blue. I'm gonna go with yellow. Just skirt the odds, and off we go.
I'm going to go money on green for me as well.
Okay, money on green. Here we go. Which bird?
This is tense
best?
because we can't see it spinning.
Yes. Is it spinning?
Can you guys?
Nobody knows.
Can you guys not see it? Oh shit!
It's smooth on YouTube, to be fair. It's smooth.
It was red.
It's been
You guys
been
who
on
got
You
to
see
it.
it spinning on YouTube. I'm like, how
Red.
long
Red.
behind
Red.
YouTube is it? And it
It's
is.
a red bird.
It's red bird.
Red bird.
Red
Good
bird,
job,
red
guys.
bird,
Red, 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 red.
Right, excellent work, guys. I think we can call it there.
Right. Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah, it's
everybody.
Awesome. Yeah,
Bye.
Great work, Adam. Really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
really
you,
good
guys.
work,
Thank
mate.
you.
Good job, good job.
Fantastic, as always.
All right.
Cheers, guys.